Minasan konnichiwa or konbanwa, depending on when you are watching this. I'm Monique from JapanEasyReads, and today's Express PD is a really practical look at movie talk, and specifically this demo will show ways to provide input using the same clip, but for different levels. So I really hope to show how even if you are not a confident speaker of Japanese, you can still provide compelling input with minimal language. And if you are a competent and confident speaker, you can use these strategies as a springboard for more in-depth discussion using more advanced grammar. So, what is movie talk? Movie talk, or ClipChat, as it is now referred to, is a fantastic strategy to have in your toolkit. It's an activity specifically for the acquisition-driven language classroom, and I have used this really regularly. It's one of my favorite go-to activities. So basically, the teacher plays a short, muted video clip and explains it in really comprehensible language. It was developed by Dr. Ashley Hastings, and originally it was considered movie talk, referred to as movie talk. The way that we use these short clips now, it has been advised that we refer to it as ClipChat. So I'll call it ClipChat for today. So why are they so good? There are so many reasons why ClipChat is an amazing thing to put into your lessons. Most importantly, the most important thing that I have observed is that it really does lower the affective filter. And, if we can do this, that's magic. So by lowering the affective filter, the learners, if they're feeling anxious or stressed or unmotivated, their filter is high, and it makes it much harder for the students to observe and process the new language. So when the students or the learners are relaxed and confident and interested in the language that's being used, their filter is lowered, and this facilitates much easier language acquisition. As well as that, as I said, you can recycle. If you're teaching multiple levels, you can use the same clip and prepare. You get lots of bang for your buck. So you can make one preparation and just dial the language up or dial it down, depending on the students that you've got. And of course, because it's very visual, there's lots of extra support there. And it's super fun. There are so many different movie snippets that can be used, from advertisements to little snippets from a movie, lots of mini very short films. So there's a wealth of material there. And if you're in the JapanEasyReads community, I have shared a data bank of a whole lot of different that I've received from other teachers, and then some of them I have used. Some of them are new to me too, but there's a whole data bank of potential movie talks for you to use. So basically, how do we prepare for a movie talk? So as I said, I have a database that's in the JapanEasyReads community. You choose a video clip and the teacher will watch it, and then as you're watching it, you'll pick out the main points and summarize that in the target language. Now, if you've watched any of my Express PD, you'll know that I'm a big advocate for using the Super 7 verbs, particularly for beginners. And so if you look at some previous webinars about why I am such a fan, please check out some of the other webinars. So I would pick out I would think about the Super 7 verbs, and I would look at what I can say and what language I can use using those Super 7. And I probably wouldn't, for the beginners, use all of the Super 7. I would just pick out the main ones. Then quickly screenshot the images of the video that will match these plot points. When you've done that, you add vocab and language scaffolding as needed. And as I always say, my mother was right, less is definitely more with so many things. Then create any pre or post activities you'd like personalised questions and answers or a true-false listening quiz. And then embed the video to watch at the end of the talk. So basically, actually we'll go through because I'll explain step one. Step one, and this is an important part of the process, particularly if this is a new activity for your students. I find that this can help avoid some frustration when they're just getting used to how you deliver a movie talk or clip chat activity. So I would say, we're going to watch a movie clip. I'm going to describe things we see as we watch it. I might ask some questions. Your job is to follow along and answer the questions when I ask by gesturing or giving one word or one sentence response, or if it's a yes or no, hi, yeah. At the end, we'll watch the full clip, no stops, and you will see the ending. So I have found that that helps the students focus on and know that there is an end to this. That's a short period of time that they have to really focus, and they will be rewarded at the end with seeing the whole clip. So some sample learning intentions and success criteria, which I'll share. So the learning intentions might be, I can listen to and understand the story plot. So you don't need to, we're not expecting the students to know and produce all of the language that they are listening to, but to understand the overall gist of the story, of the plot. I can listen to, follow, and join in the discussion using Japanese that I know. So what we're really hoping for is that the students get involved in the story and immerse themselves in the story, and they are then compelled to follow along, and they will be able to use language that they know. So that might be a one-word response. It might be even a gestured response, but following on and joining in at their level. The success criteria would be something like this. I listen with the intent to understand, and I follow the discussion. I can share my emotional response. Now that might be verbal, or it could be non-verbal, like a smile, a gesture, a laugh, or an expression. When these things happen, the students are showing us their comprehension. So if we're checking for comprehension and the students are giving an emotional response, we know that there is understanding there. They just may not be able to produce the language. So that is something to keep in mind, because this emotional response was something, until I started using more CI and looking into it more, I really didn't accept that that was a suitable response. So definitely that's gold if they can really get engaged with an emotional response. So maintain another success criteria will be successful if you can maintain the Japanese flow and know English while the teacher is speaking and asking questions. We try and stay in flow. And I talk to the students about that. What does in flow look like? We're getting swept away with the story. And if we are chopping and changing with lots of English in between, we can't get in flow. And finally, if you are not clear, that the responsibility is on the students then to let the teacher know. And sometimes I will have a gesture, or they might just do a gesture like this, repeat it, or, I need a little bit more time, or maybe I'm going too fast, so they need it again. So moving on to step 2. So tonight I'll share 2 very different clip chats, both which work really well for a school unit. If you need to do a unit about school or at the start of the year, these 2 would be great little warm-up activities, generating lots of discussion and allowing the students to hear a lot of those school words in context. So it could be a unit, or it could be you could do a movie talk Mondays or a Friday film days, or it could be used, one of the shorter ones could be used as a brain break. One of these examples tonight is only 38 seconds long, so that would be perfect for a quick little brain break. Or it could be for a bailout when everybody needs time out. Everyone's had enough. It's the end of the week, or it's come back in after lunch and everybody's feeling a bit ratty. It could be hot weather program and everybody's just over it. So it's also good for those occasions just to have up your sleeve to use. So demo number 1. This, as I said, is a very short clip, only under 40 seconds long. So if we see the target language that I've used, focusing on the Super 7, it's really minimal, but the language that we can generate from this small group of language chunks is really substantial. There'll be some language, of course, that comes up, but our focus is providing, and that's okay, but our focus really is providing lots of input for the targeted ones. Hey, Tessa. So that's our focus. So for this one, you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Super 7 verbs that we will be trying to use. And the additional vocab, kami, iPad do, okasan, otosan. So really limited language here. So this one, I would have no problem at all doing this one with junior school. No problem at all. So anyway, we'll see how we go. First, we're going to go through the screenshots and we'll discuss what we can see. We'll ask questions, be mindful of the pacing. If you find that it's dragging, it means, I'm saying this because I have been there and wondering, why is this just, it means that we really need to tune into the energy in the class. And if one slide is not generating a lot of discussion or a lot of language, it's okay, we can move on. So that's my little tip for you. So yeah, really recycle and reuse all of the language, exploit the language in the screenshot as much as you can, and then move on when it starts to get a little bit, you can start to feel the energy shifting. So we're going to have a go here now, bearing in mind that our focus super 7 verbs are des, and obviously the negative janai des, ga suki desu, ga arimasu, ga imasu, or shimasu. Now, I have gestures for all of my super 7 verbs. Des, janai des, ga suki desu, ga arimasu, ga arimasen, ga imasu, ga imasen, or shimasu. So there's extra support for that. But you might also have the word wall, and if that's the case, you can point and pause as you're using these words. The additional vocab that you might may or may not, your students may or may not be familiar with, but certainly there's so much repetition of these keywords in this short clip that they will certainly know them by the end. So we could start with doko desu ka? Doko desu ka? Uchi desu ka? Gakko desu ka? And then you can, you'll be generating these questions and asking the students this. If this is very, very first time, I might even just explain this to them and talk about it and without asking any questions. So, minasan, どこですか? FCJ 学校じゃないです。家です。家です。誰ですか? お父さんですか? それともお母さんですか? はい。お父さんじゃないです。お母さんです。お母さんがいます。お母さんがいます。そして、誰ですか? 子供ですか? それとも、男の人ですか? はい。男の人じゃないです。子供です。男の子です。Again, use as much language as you want. Scale it up if your students know some of these words, or target the ones that they might be new to. If they know okasan, we don't need to circle that a lot. That's a given. はい。男の子はアートをします。アートをします。鉛筆があります。そして紙があります。お母さんと男の子はアートをします。皆さん、どこでアートをしますか? 学校ですか? 家ですか? そうですね。家でアートをします。リビングルームですか? いいえ、リビングルームじゃないです。台所ですね。キッチンです。はい。誰ですか? はい。お父さんです。お父さんがいます。そしてお母さんと子供がいます。皆さんはどこにいますか? キッチン。はい。台所にいます。皆さん、何ですか? iPad ですか? いいえ、iPad じゃないです。紙です。紙です。皆さん、お父さんは紙が好きじゃないです。お父さんは何が好きですか？何ですか？はい。iPad。はい。お父さんは iPad が好きです。お母さんは iPad が好きじゃないです。皆さん、お母さんは風船です。風船が好きです。風船は、ポストイットです。ポストイット、風船。風船はどこにありますか？フリッジ。はい、はい。冷蔵庫にあります。ピンクがある。そしてオレンジもありますね。はい。お父さんは嬉しくないですか？うん、嬉しくないです。どうして神が好きじゃないからですね。はい。お父さんは皆さん、紙が好きですか？それとも iPad が好きですか？うん、そうですね。iPad が好きです。お父さんのポストイット風船はどこですか？iPad。はい。iPad にあります。お父さんは iPad が大好きです。大好きです。でも、紙が好きじゃないです。皆さん、お父さんですか？いえ、誰ですか？そうですね。お母さんです。お母さんは、リビングルームにいますか？いいえ。どこ？オフィスにいますね。はい。オフィスにいます。お母さんは iPad より紙が好きです。お母さんは紙でパズルをします。でも、お父さんは紙のパズルが好きじゃないです。お父さんは iPad のパズルが好きです。お父さんは iPad で読みます。お母さんは iPad で読みますか？いいえ、iPad で読みません。どうして？お母さんは紙が好きです。iPad が好きじゃないです。皆さん、お父さんはどこにいますか？キッチンにいますか？いいえ、キッチンにいません。トイレットにいます。トイレットに 言います。でも、トイレットの紙、トイレットペーパーがありますか？いいえ、トイレットペーパーがありません。問題ですね。Okay. So, of course, when I wonder if this is going to work for me this time. Maybe I'll just leave this here, and by all means, you can. I would then watch it with the students. I've left the final part, the little twist at the end, and so I would show the film without stopping. They can see all of that, and then I might say, 皆さん、お父さんは問題がありますか？はい。問題は何ですか？問題は紙、トイレットの紙がありません。And that's what he receives under the door from Oka-san. So it's a really fun, quick one. You can make it much quicker than that if you want, just sharing that. But to give an idea of perhaps the different questions that you can use and how you can expand on them, here are some here. I'm just going to zoom through them because we've got the other one to do too. You can see that you can extend the questions, depending on the language that the students have. Now, the second one is a little bit longer. It's not too long though. And this one, Catherine Tominaga-san and I presented this one at the JLTAB conference maybe a couple of years ago now, but it is a really good one to do at the beginning of the year. You can see the Super 7 verbs there. There's, just a handful, which is great. The additional vocab here, kami, hasami. Again, you can use a gesture, so kami or kami, hasami, ishi, tomodachi, and yasashi. They're the ones that I used when I was talking about this one. But it's also a really good chance to review and revise numbers, counters, and colors in context. So again, there's no perfect way to do this. It really depends on, it's really open-ended. So it depends on what language you would like to input your students, what input you would like to give the students. So here we go. Minasan, again, I might start with, just to get them warmed up, I might start with just explaining to the class before I make any questions, give any questions. Minasan, 学校です。特別な、special、特別な学校です。学校、どんな学校ですか？何ですか？人ですか？人ですか？いいえ。ハサミですか？はい。ハサミの学校です。皆さん、ハサミですか？いいえ。何ですか？紙です。はい。紙。この紙は嬉しいですか？嬉しくないですね。はい。皆さん、3枚ハサミが imasu. Now, I would explain imasu and arimasu. So for this, it's an animated story, so I'll use imasu. Tomodachi desu ka? Yasashii kami desu ka? 神さんは嬉しいです。友達がいますか？友達ですか？でも、三枚の神は優しくないです。とっても優しくないです。三枚の神は何が欲しいですか？何が欲しいですか？ペーパークリップかな？はい。皆さん、何ですか？そうですね。ハサミ。ピンクのハサミですか？いいえ。何色ですか？黒ですね。黒いハサミがいます。優しいですか？優しいハサミですか？わかりません。よかった。黒いハサミは優しいです。だから、神は嬉しいです。二人は友達です。友達です。でも、問題があります。石が三つあります。一つ、二つ、三つ。二つの石は優優しくないです。カバンが欲しいです。赤いカバンが欲しいです。皆さん、誰のカバンですか？小さい石のカバンです。二つの石は怖いです。どうして？ハサミも怖いです。ハサミと紙と石は友達です。Okay, and then you would play that as I said. So play that, and this one's there's lots of gaps in between the story. Um, so when you play through this one again, you might be able to slot in a few more details. But after you've shown the full clip to the class, you may choose just to leave that as that's the activity, and a lot of CI teachers prefer to do it that way. But I do think it's a good opportunity to create a text from this and do a write and discuss. So you could recap the story together with the class, and then you've got a reading passage that uses and recycles the language that they've had all that input for. So yeah, depending on how much time you've got in your class, or it could be a good follow-up activity to do.